Hey, how's that? Technical issues abound. Gotta get myself a better control board, and also gotta stop messing things up. How you doing? 1010 noggin, getting ready to scour the Commonwealth, getting rid of some really nasty folks who are standing between us and our mission to rebuild a civil society. And this is really the last bit of story in Fallout 4, so far as I can tell. So after this, it's basically going to be settlement time. It's going to be time to go through and just build up some, this one I think I'm going to pretty much call done. There may be a couple things I want to do. Like I've got to finish this wall up here. Right now it doesn't do much of anything. But there's here, I've got to rebuild something at the Starlight Drive-In. But for right now, before we can do that, we've got a bunch of raiders of various sorts. Let's see, he's keeping a watch out. Raiders of various sorts in Neutral World who are causing problems. Right now, I'm actually doing some odd jobs for them, biding my time until I can take each one of them out without risking myself. Without bringing too much trouble down on us. And like I said, I think we're actually set to go. Last night, I think, we'll check the roster here, but I pretty much finished up. Yeah, I've got to go back, just like last night. We'll start off by going back and talking to the various bosses, getting some caps, getting some experience, and getting our next set of missions. We'll probably spend a little time in Neutral World just going around cleaning up some of the Technicolor ghouls that we found near some of the kiddie rides. What else is there? There's that, I want to call it Galaxy something or other. We have to go find a bunch of circuit boards there. Like, there are a couple other little stories going on there that we need to follow up on. So I'll make some incremental progress there too.
You a sheep or a
Where am I going? Where am I going?
only runs with wolves.
If you're wearing a collar, it's because you asked for it. Ain't no one's a slave.
So I am trying a little bit different physical configuration. Hey, Devin, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you for a few days. Woke up about half an hour ago. Well, I just wrapped up work about half an hour ago. And that's all we'll say about that. Today and the last couple of days at work have not been fun. Let me tell you, they're still better than, the best days when I was doing some of my other jobs. It's still not so bad, but boy, just tons of annoyances and frustration. So hopefully your day's going better. So here's the thing. I am trying out a different, different physical configuration. I've got the mic right here by my face now. Don't know why I didn't do this sooner. I've had the microphone arm for a long time now. Just never thought to try it out. So hopefully you can hear me a little better. But if it starts getting too loud, or it starts kind of breaking up because I'm talking too loud into the thing, or you can hear me breathing too much or whatever, anything that's amiss, anything that doesn't sound great, you let me know.
Well, hello there, young.
No, we're not talking. So where am I going? This place still confuses me. So it's kind of over this way somewhere. Once we go, it's like through there, but I just came out of there. Where the heck is it? We'll just wander around this way.
Like always.
It's like we're still on the right track. So, yeah, just finished up Detroit Become Human last night. So, all done with that for right now. I'm going to go back and do some more playthroughs. I was about 99% happy with this one. Cappy's Cafe, huh? Haven't been in there.
I'm not sure what's worse.
But there are a couple things that I want to go back and try to do a little bit better. I totally blew the scene at the Eden Club, so I've got to go back and see if I can navigate the scene with blue-haired Tracy a little bit differently.
Never did get.
And I'm not going to say anything in case you haven't seen it, but the very last scene in the game was just perfect up until the very last moment. Man, every time I come in here, I think someone's shooting at me.
Chalk another
Hey,
one.
Mags.
Well, I was gonna say good guys, but you know what I mean.
Well, I suspect things all went according to plan. Take it.
They always
The
do.
proceeds of a hard day's work.
Mostly.
If you think you've got it in you, I've got another job available.
Sure, whatever you need.
Well then, let me get to
So this has got it. This is probably just an endless stream. This is not building towards anything.
For us. They blabbed about it. I want to make it ours.
Sign me up.
Superb. Happy hunting.
I was gonna try to expect payment after we already talked. Apparently, we're all done talking.
Not supposed to hurt.
Okay, so there's one.
No rule against tricking him into hurt.
I talked to Nisha, and I can't remember the other guy's name. The other guy I don't like going and talking to, only because there are dogs barking in the background, like 24/7. Oh, that's probably something else I'm screwing up here. I don't have... So, the way I think this should be set up is that the audio from the applications all routes into my OBS before my volume control, right? So it should just be at a fixed level. I don't think that's how it works. So if it sounded really quiet here...
My hand at the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's louder for me now, let me tell you.
Wasted.
That's okay, we'll consider that a little test. I'll go back and listen to it again later, see how it turned out.
Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, how high were they when they built this place?
One over that way, we'll go to this one first.
All you have to do is
Yeah, there's that mountain, whatever. Up and over. Everyone stand clear. I gotta watch it with that again. I keep forgetting that I even have that. I'm gonna land on someone here accidentally and start a fight I don't want to get into yet. Here's where Nisha lives.
Things are boring as hell since...
So I've got to figure out a second game to play now. I like to try to divide my time between a couple different things. And I've got a pretty good backlog of stuff. Don't we all, I guess, if you... This year I was pretty good, but the Steam Summer Sale every other year before has added... Oh, nope, not there.
Sure, we carry guns.
Has added more games to my backlog than I realistically have time to ever play. But I think I'm going to focus on this one in sort of the earlier time slot and do another, maybe a little less well-known game.
We didn't deal with Coulter ourselves.
Yeah. Later in the evening?
Well, I was gonna say good guys, but you know what I mean.
You're back. For your trouble. The disciples could use you for something else.
Whatever I can do to help.
That easy, huh? I
Yep.
was just thinking about our dear friends in the pack.
Uh-oh.
Some wastelanders selling secrets about us, but not for long. Just don't make it too quick. It's more satisfying when suffering is involved.
If I scratch your back, I expect you'll scratch mine.
That goes without saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Right up my alley.
Good.
All right. There's number 2. Who's down there? Anyone? Do a crit save just to be sure. It looks clear. Let's see. So the reason I will be keeping this one in the Prime slot is I'm still waiting for the Fallout 76 beta to come out. And as soon as that comes out, if I can, I'm going to take at least a day away from work and just kind of stream as much as I possibly can. The few breaks in between. And Devin, actually, I've been looking into the idea that you came up with of using the Xbox as a way to do crossplay. I haven't seen anything that explicitly says that they'll allow crossplay between PC and Xbox, but it is sort of implied in some of the communications. It seems like Sony's the only one. They're the only ones who are being, questionable about things. So, yeah, I've never had an Xbox of none of the different, variations they've released over the years. Mainly because all the games I've wanted to play, the sorts of games I really, really like, have all been PlayStation exclusives. I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, but like Uncharted, The Last of Us, so like a lot of the later, Naughty Dog story-based stuff. Where am I going? Where am I going? Let's look on the map directly, because there are a lot of markers out there, and I don't want to get messed up. Return to Mason. Mason's the one he... Okay. So he is that him? Yeah, he's just kind of south of me directly here. He's that big his store. Shadow of the Colossus, Ito. Like, the list just goes on and on. A lot of the games that I was really set on playing have all been PlayStation things. But I think this... Hello. Oh, I wandered into the market again. Oh, well. But anyway, this has been the first time where there's something on the Xbox that just can't do with the current equipment. Oh, it's not the market. It's his place.
If you can take something,
and there's all the noise again. Let's get this over with quick.
piece of friendly advice. If you can't find your place quickly, someone
What can I do in power armor? Yeah.
Did you miss me?
back so soon. That's too bad. I didn't have time to arrange the party.
I don't know. It sounds like it's going on.
Alpha to label up the spoils. Here, consider yourself spoiled. So,
Thank
don't
you.
suppose you want to help me out with another little something?
I got you.
I got a loose end out in the Commonwealth. Need you to go help me tie that down. I want you to collar her.
Another caller.
Beat her into submission. Either way, you should be able to slap it on her without much fuss.
Who will I be facing?
Just a fool. Should be easy pickings.
Sure, why
Kinda
not?
work.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Another Good Neighbor. Man. Lots and lots of folks in Good Neighbor are getting collared.
If you ain't standing out, you ain't worth it.
There. Come on, come on. Ah, I didn't. Well, let's see what happens now, huh?
Very brave, very stupid.
Are they, like, permanently angry at me now? That was worth it. Oh, jeez. Doing a soft landing with the jetpack is tricky, I'm telling you. Oh, they're fine. She's still flipped out, but everyone else is fine. New to town, USA. Same thing the other side, yep.
Mason's been waiting for you.
And we just met, so we're cool. Alright, well, let's take a look at the local map and see if there's anything. So I spent some time up here last night. Just in the interest of getting things done without waiting, without taking forever, I think I'm going to go ahead and go there again. But we'll focus on one at a time, because otherwise there's a lot of stuff to do in each one. I don't want to drag them all out forever. Oh, golly. Yeah, so, I've been thinking about 76, and while I know a lot of people with way more experience than I have doing online multiplayer things, because I don't have a lot of experience with that. I think that I played DC Universe Online for a while, and that they had pretty good controls over the whether you really wanted to do PvP or if you were just doing the missions in the game. So I never had a big problem with griefers in there. But all these other things, talk to anyone who's played a lot of the other massively multiplayer online games, and I've been listening to a lot of people who play Fallout 4 currently who are a little angsty about 76. Just because they're waiting for it to be, they're waiting for pretty much everyone else to ruin the game, or they're worried about, alright. They're worried about Bethesda trying to monetize it too much, which I know they make a fair amount of money. They make a lot of money, but they have a lot of people to employ, so you can't really fault them for that. Unless it gets to the point where it feels like extortion to be able to play. Personally, I'm looking forward to it just because, loved playing Fallout 4. I loved the sort of lonely, the sort of lone wolf vibe, you know, the feeling of walking around, especially early on, playing this game, wandering around out in the unknown. This was not only my first first-person shooter game in a long time, it was also my very first open-world game. And so I can remember staying up till 3, 4 in the morning just being absolutely floored at the fact that I hadn't like hit an edge yet. Hadn't really reached the edge of the map. It was just amazing. It was a brilliant feeling. And that's the sort of thing that's tough to maintain, you know. It's like the current game, or 76 is going to be 4 times bigger. That's awesome. That will get used up too. You know, you can't infinitely expand a world, so at some point you're not going to be able to rely on the fact that you can just add more map or whatever. So you've got to have something else that adds a kind of a draw, you know, some kind of variety. And the only thing I know of that adds that much variety is going to be other people, you know. I think it probably is for them a bit of a financial concern too. It is that way they don't. It changes how they have to develop the content. I know that they've talked about how there are going to be stories, but I think a lot of the so-called stories in the game are actually going to be things that involve other people. It's going to be how people decide to form groups and either live alongside one another or creating factions and going to war, you know. So it'll be interesting to see. And I have no reason right now to feel, you know, that anxiety I was describing about it. I've pretty much used this game up. It's still fun. It's a nice way to relax in the evening. But, you know, Nuka World is a really good example of this, where it's, whoa, you got some tough kneecaps there. There's a lot of new stuff to look at, but you know going in that it's going to be some variation of, you know, even with all the new creatures that are in here, there's still this one area that's like all recycling ghouls in different ways, you know. Again, it's not necessarily bad. I'm still having fun with it. It's just, it's got limited shelf life. Hey, awesome. Okay, let's see if we can take you out a little faster too. Nope. There we go. 339 experience for him. That is thanks to that. Wait, where's the other one? It's over there. Hello. Take it you're attached to the horse. Another 339. That is worth more than the missions that I'm doing right now. Let's quickly go find someone else to blow up. You're not a real person. What's that? I guess we'll find out. Whoop! Always look for traps. Woohoo! Ah! Quite a setup they have there. Ah! Again. And down we go. And up in the air and down. Oh, didn't get high enough that time. Keep running out of juice. And right on top. Oh, man. Really? Okay. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Band-Aid time. And there we go. That'll do it. How much? Wow, 113. We're back to normal. That bonus from the Idiot Savant does not last very long. But it's fun while it lasts. There we go. You're already dead. You're not. And which gun am I? Oh, I'm using my shotgun. That was a mistake. Okay, let's get rid of the rads. Patch that up. Switch guns here. Because this thing does just about the same damage. It's not, doesn't have quite the same fire rate. Good enough though. Oh, that is the one. What am I looking at here? That's really weird. Let me check something. Go over to ammo. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Shotgun shells 214. That totally makes sense. I'm telling you, I do something at some point. Whoops. Would not surprise me. These days, I normally don't bumble quite this bad. Lately though? Yeah, apparently, I'm pretty sure Justice did not always use shotgun shells. Like, it doesn't really make sense to have both. So that's why I've been saving up all that ammo. Darn it. Okay. Well, now I feel dippy, but that's nothing new. What can we use instead? Let's conserve that ammo just a little bit. There we go. Well, that being the case, I'm actually going to head back to where there's... Boy, look at that setup. Huh. I'm just glad I didn't get more blown to smithereens there. But anyway, I'm going to head somewhere where I can check on what the heck I did to that gun. And see if I can convert it back to using the other ammo. I need to diversify my ammo just a little bit. The shotgun shells just keep being used up way too much. I'm sure I have something back in the Commonwealth that I can use that does, if not the same damage, then something comparable. Maybe there'll be some better balance. Hi. Stop it. Down you go. So Devin, my apologies. I can't tell if you're still on because I've turned off my dashboard that tells me how many people are watching on which channel. If you're still there, I'm kind of curious. If you don't mind my asking, it seems like you might work nights or something. Again, I don't want to be too nosy, but I'm just kind of curious what kind of work you do. I wonder if I can just fast travel out of here, yeah? Let's just do that. Yeah, I still got 2 things to do over there. Oh, well, enemies are nearby, so where are the enemies? I don't know where the enemies are, but let's see. And just walk our way at fine. Whoa! Well, that wasn't maybe as bad as it could have been. Getting better reflexes there. Yeah, how do you get out of this crazy place? Up, 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 up. There we go. Ah, that's more like it. And we can get a little more experience on the way out. He doesn't even know we're there. Boop. Oh, now he does. That didn't do much. So either I... There we go. Oh, missed. Oh, he turned. There you go. Alright, I think that should do it. Let's see if we can fast travel from here now. Back to the Commonwealth. Cool. Yeah, and look at that, and we almost leveled up again. Sweet. So in terms of my alternate games, I've got a couple different options I'm thinking. And they're nothing like the other games I've been playing, which is kind of nice. It'd be nice to try something semi-new for a change.
Won't be able to pick this.
Really. I have no idea where I'm going. Anything interesting there? Not really. Let's go ahead and just head straight back up to Sanctuary real quick. So let's see. There are actually a couple different categories of things. I've got the games that I started a long time ago and never finished. Most of those are not good candidates because there's a reason I didn't finish them. You know? I've got... what's it called? From the people who did Myst. Abduction, which I was not all that happy with. Like Myst and Riven and all those were fun back in their day. I would say of all of them, Riven still kind of stands out as a classic to me, even more than Myst. Myst was like, hey, look, we have 3D tools, and there was a lot of like, we can do anything, and so you end up making things that looked a little weird, a little inconsistent. Whereas Riven had a really strong, consistent theme, both in the visuals and the sound, and it's interesting. It was also the only game that they did where they had a sort of an outside consultant. One of the people who did visual design on some other films around that period, like Willow, worked with them and helped them with it. Like they had one set of puzzles that was originally going to be like you had to figure out these special Dunese symbols for colors, and they were talking about how they were going to have this like closet full of chemicals with, you know, labels on them for the different colors. And the consultant they worked with, I cannot remember his name, but he's the one who turned it from that into that like Gen's throne room where you learn the colors by attracting those big shark-like things. You know, he added some real like drama and grandeur to the design of the game, and it shows everywhere. Not that the folks who make, I mean, Cyan Worlds, you know, I really like their games in general, but he definitely gave them a bigger vision of what they were trying to do. Well, Abduction was a little bit more back to the, hey, look what we can do. The acting in it was terrible. The acting and also some of the writing, it was one of those things where, like, back in Myst and Riven, I remember solving the puzzles because there was this distinct sense of, like, what's going on, you know? Like, I gotta figure out what's happening here. And in Abduction, it's like, oh, look, another puzzle. I guess I'll do it because I guess I'm playing the game. Anyway. Ooh, look at that. Salespeople have been busy. I don't have any. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got a fat man, which I'm not going to carry around. We got that's a shotgun. Don't want that. A gamma gun. Never-ending Western revolver, which takes 44. How about 45s? Anything take 45? There we go. Plasma infused. Automatic radium rifle. Heck yeah. Adds 10 points of energy damage and can turn enemies into goo. Now that sounds fun. I don't wonder what I was thinking with Justice. I don't think they'd ever use different ammo. I think I'd totally just... I think the only reason I grabbed it was because it could stagger people. And I'm childish in that way. I think that's hilarious in this game. So, anyway. This sounds like a good sort of an alternate. We'll grab that instead. Staggering overcharged Gatling laser. If I get there's like some perks for the heavy artillery or whatever too, which I don't have yet. If I get those, then I'll come back and consider that one. Alright, and actually we're just going to leave Justice here, now that since I'm here. Bye-bye. And now let's go in and rearrange. And then we've got to mod that thing if we can. So I've got some of them names, like Freezing Advanced Combat Shotgun. That needs a new name. Anyway, we can't do that here. So Plasma Infused Automatic Radium Rifle. Blech. That's a mouthful. That will be number 2. And it's been so long since I've used it, or I'm just absent-minded, but apparently my gun workbench is over here. Marcy's fine. Okay. Freezing. So we need a different name for this thing. What do we call it? Something to do with cold, because it has that freezing ability. It's not, it's kind of obvious, you know, but it'll stand out in the menu, and that's all I need to see. Never-ending powerful assault rifle. I don't know, man. I don't like that. Let's see. I'm going to do something silly here in a minute, just because I don't want to spend a lot of time doing this, but it needs a distinct name. It's Charlie. Seriously, I have no idea what to call the thing. The Plasma-Infused Automatic Radium Rifle. You'll call Cookie, because it kind of cooks you when it shoots you. The 2-shot powerful submachine gun, we will call... what will we call that one? What was that? Someone yelling in the background? What do we call this thing? Double something. Double stuff. That's weird, but it'll, like I said, it'll work. So Cookie's the one that we're updating. Got an automatic receiver. We don't want to, like a powerful, aluminum. That's okay. I got nothing better to do. Let's go find some aluminum. I know exactly where to get some. I don't even need to put on my armor to go get it.
It is hard to determine whether the surface is more or less susceptible to outbreaks, but the preparation plan is
Hope you ain't one of them synths here to spy on.
Where are you, Kiri? Are you in the greenhouse?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay, thanks. Look at you chipping in there. That's nice. Helping folks out. Probably genetically modifying all the plants, doing her little sciencey things. Okay, let's not walk all the way across the country. This is pretty far away. We'll go to Coastal Cottage and walk down from there. Oh, man. Oop. I'm not in my armor. Let's not jump off of that. Not all at once. Checking down there because there's usually a Queen Mirelurk kind of roaming about, but I don't see her. And I'm glad, because like I said, I don't have my armor, so don't need that kind of trouble right now. So back on 76 just a little bit. I gotta tell you, every time I think about it, the very first thing that comes to mind is the very first encounter I have with someone that I don't know. Where maybe it's, you know, their first time meeting someone in the game too, and there's just that, like, do they have a plan? Do they know how they're playing? Are they going to play aggressive, or are they going to try to cooperate with you? And it's just going to be that brief second where you eyeball one another.
Now I understand.
And then you find out what the other person was thinking. And that's going to be a blast. That'll be a lot of fun. It'll be kind of freaky too, in a fun way. And speaking of freaky, you know what? One of the things I heard about the game from Bethesda, so this is confirmed. Oops. Hello. One of the things I'm really glad they're doing. So I'm personally kind of into folklore. I love, you know, like regional stories around different legends. Ooh, what happened to your skin? So anyway, I grew up in a little teeny town way up in Northern California where there were all these sort of, like, not a ton, but enough, like, ghost stories, whether they were ones the kids are just making up or not. It's just, it really went with the town, you know. Grew up out in the redwoods, lots of opportunity to freak yourself out around. Okay. But also things like, you know, there's Irish folklore, which deals with fairy lore and that kind of thing, Celtic things. There's those sorts of things are pretty much universal. I love those kinds of stories. Well, they took, whoops, oh dear, no jetpack. Anyway, they took a bunch of lore from West Virginia and incorporated that into the game. And there's a lot to draw on. So you've got, I don't know very many names of the things yet, but if you've seen the trailer, you've seen some of them. The weird, like, really muscular headless thing, which apparently that's a thing. There's some kind of legend about this creature that, it's like a lot of that kind of stuff. The individual descriptions of the creatures vary, but some of the things that have in common are huge, you know, muscular, no head. There's one about this alien-like thing that was seen by, I think, a mom and her kids near what they said looked like a crashed UFO. So they're building on all this stuff. Well, the one that I'm maybe most excited about are the Mothman stories, which to me are just as spooky as they come. I love that sort of thing. And the nature of the... Oh, hi. Oh, you hurt my arm. And you're hurting my rest of me, so stop. Drop the gun, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. There you go. Oh! New gun. That worked. That works nicely. I like that. All these many years, what, 4 years, playing this game, and I've never really used automatic weapons. No regrets, but they're sure fun to get into now. Whoops. There we go.
That's it.
So the thing with the Mothman is that a lot of the stories have to do, you know, like a lot of these legends, is you never get a very direct look at him. So that's one thing they're going to have to do differently with a lot of them is, you know, they're kind of pointless if you can't interact with them. The Mothman, from what I've heard, is going to be a little different than that, though. They're actually going to have him kind of appear gradually. Like he's going to stalk you for a while before he makes his appearance, which is just perfect. Really looking forward to seeing how they do that. Looking forward to, hopefully, if they do it right, being genuinely freaked out, you know, seeing him peering in the window or whatever. Doesn't really go with the theme of Fallout. I'll have to think about that for a minute. So, you know, it's funny. I never really thought about that angle of it. It doesn't personally bother me, just because it's really easy for me to sort of construct a story in my head where, during the period when everyone was in the vault, the idea that these creatures were, you know, they were things out there, and without people around, they became more dominant. Oh my gosh, get away from me, pal. Woo! Back to the idea in just a minute. I just need to make sure I'm not getting totally fried here.
Please stand still.
So, but now that you say that, it's funny. I can totally see what you're saying, in that you look at them from a certain angle and they look very much like a different version of some of the things that you might see in Skyrim or something instead, right? Like the big bat-like thing kind of looks like a dragon, right? But like I said, I think I'm biased because I kind of study folklore in my off time anyway, and so having something that plays into that, like in my head, those stories, those kinds of creatures are as much a part of the sort of background of our modern culture, because, you know, I grew up around stories about Bigfoot and that kind of thing and all these. So the fact that they actually included them in the game, I don't know, it doesn't break the like modern day vibe for me, personally. But I do think that it's an interesting point. I haven't talked to many other people about it. I'll be curious to see how many others think that see it similarly, where it's like, well, whether or not it's cool, is it Fallout? Does it really fit the rest of the theme of the game? Oh, come on, man. Having issues here. There we go. That's more like it. He comes to... he's coming over to just club me to death. Where's the other one? There we go. Still another one up there, apparently. Where is he? He'll show up. You know, it's funny. To me, they're actually kind of similar to, say, the, what do you call them? The Zedans or whatever. Like, I don't know the other Fallout games very well, so I don't know how to pronounce their names, really. But the little alien guys that you find. Like, you even see one in this game, too. Briefly, but you do see him. And it's like, it kind of fits into the game because there was kind of an obsession with UFOs and that kind of thing from a certain angle back in the 50s. And this game is stylistically very much from the 50s and maybe the early 60s or something. Somewhere around there. So it's different. It's in one way kind of foreign to the style of the game, and in another way very familiar. That should be enough aluminum for a while.
I was in error. No enemy detected.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point too. I'd actually heard that there weren't going to be any super mutants in this one. And there's a whole, like, as soon as I heard about the game, I went and took a look at a, you know, timeline that someone had compiled of
Hostile sensor reading detected.
U.S. history according to Fallout, you know. And I can't remember how or where they fit on the timeline. But in some of the things they've shown online, there have definitely been super mutants. They've been in some of the videos anyway. Now, whether they're just placeholders while they develop things, or if they're actually going to be in the main game, is hard to say. I think it's early enough that, like with a lot of games, you can't always take what you see in the trailer as unalterable truth, you know. Just the way development goes. Sometimes you need stuff to work with while you're developing all, you know, the full complement of content that you need for the game. But they were there, so it'd be interesting to see them. But again, kind of like I was talking about in this one, where I've seen how many different varieties of duels now. And the duels in 76 look awful. Not awful like in terms of quality, but like they haven't had a long time to dry out, you know, become these mummified things. They're still kind of juicy. You know, they're really nasty looking to me. So that'll be new for a while, but you know, yeah, they've got to do something to expand the complement of creatures in the game. Or again, it's going to get old real quick. So, but it looks like they have also used some more natural fauna, I guess, to, like, there are what look like giant spiders, which again, I acclimated myself to the idea of jumping spiders for a while, just because this is weird, little aside, but you don't look at them and they're really, really cool looking. We have quite a few of them around here, but it also turns out they're like hyper intelligent for spiders. Like the smartest of them can actually solve puzzles and mazes and that kind of thing. So the idea of a little thing like that, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I'm actually glad to hear there are going to be giant spiders in this, just because it'll be a good opportunity to kind of freak out. You know, should be exciting. What other kinds of creatures does it look like there? I'm trying to remember anything else I've seen. There's got to be things kind of like mole rats or whatever. They're really cool until they start coming at you. Exactly, right? Yeah, one of my earliest memories of spiders is when I was a kid. And we had a jumping spider that was living underneath my windowsill. And I was young, and I have memories, very clear memories of very early childhood. And this was the first spider I think I'd ever really dealt with. And I'm like, I'd go to look at it, and it'd run into its web and go under there. Well, one day I just decided, like, well, done with that. I just grabbed the thing and held it out. And it was like waving the pedipalps, the things in front like they do. It kind of reared up, and oh my gosh. That was like, I remember very distinctly the birthplace of my fear of spiders. It was right there. So I think between human intelligence, you know, dealing with other people in the wasteland, the lore-based things, you know, the folklore-based things, like you were saying, the standard complement of Fallout, you have to sort of appease that expectation in people who are, you know, if they're playing a Fallout game, they're going to want to see certain things, right? But between that and then the natural wildlife, there should be a good complement of things. That and the Zedans have got to show up somewhere again. So let's see what we can do here. I don't think I've ever actually done a powerful automatic receiver upgrade.
Yeah.
So this should be kind of cool. Okay, quickly do more mods while it's still going. Long barrel, poor hip fire, superior recoil range, and okay, we'll do that. Full stock recoil compensating, better aim with scopes, improved. I don't know about scopes with this thing. Doesn't really matter a lot. The recoil matters, so we'll go ahead and do that. Standard magazine. No, we want the large quick eject mag. We want sights. I don't care about. Well, what about? Should we put glow sights on it? Sure, why not? Muzzle suppressor. Suppresses sound from firing. Exceptional per shot recoil. Improved recoil control. That's what I care about. If I lose some range on that one, that's fine, because I'm not using that one for... I've got plenty of guns for the long range stuff. Alright, we have a new toy. Let's go try it out somewhere. Again, I'll leave the armor there for right now. I think in 76, opening up the game so that you can build your settlement pretty much anywhere technically, I can imagine that must have been pretty tough. But I think that's a brilliant move because that is partially what's going to fuel some of the tension. What is it with this guy? I don't know when he started doing that, but yeah, a bunch of the caravan guards started to decide they're going to go around in their underwear now. Anyway, that's what's going to foster a lot of the tension between people is, you know, trying to get some of the good spots. Or ooh, look at that thing. Wow, sorry, I'm not actually going to shoot the cow. That is kind of cool looking. Awesome. Because it doesn't matter how big the place is. As soon as you get a couple people who want the same spot, people who will try to build an entire city, yeah, right. You know, I'm super curious to see, because of the build limits in this game. Like, I was really bummed to find out in, what's it called? Hangman's Alley. It's that spot that's downtown where you can build between the buildings. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm going straight up. Like, we're just going to, especially now with elevators, I'm just going to, like, go as high as I can. And there's a really low ceiling that you can build to in there. It doesn't take long before you hit the spot and you just can't build anything anymore. Woo! Thank you for participating in our trial. New volunteers. Awesome. Well, you know now, since I just leveled up, you got a mod for Hangman's Alley that lets me build inside to the... That's really cool. That would be awesome. Because personally, I like the sort of urban spots, you know what I mean? Like, if I had my druthers, like, it's just not something that would work out for me personally. But I personally would really love living downtown in a big city. It's what I like. So yeah, building a spot down there really, really appealed to me. So with scrap everything, there are a couple spots where you can just get rid of walls on the building so that you technically could kind of build into them. The problem is, you know, the designers didn't plan for that. And so there's like a couple spots where the ground gets really weird. It's very odd and inconsistent. It doesn't necessarily do the clipping correctly. It's not really a safe place to build. And there's one spot actually that if you open it up, you're looking at the water that's in a tunnel right next to that area. So, yeah, it doesn't work out right. So, yeah, if you have pictures anywhere that you could post, I'd love to see them. That sounds really cool. Okay, so we're going to do this last commando upgrade. So we're going to do double damage with automatic weapons and a greater chance to stagger opponents. And so now that we're doing this, well, I've got to go try out the gun again. Can't just leave it untested, so we need to go find some more volunteers. What are we up to now? So Cookie now does... Well, it still says 66. I wonder if that's... It was doing pretty well anyway. If it doesn't do a ton more damage from that, I'm not going to be disappointed. No, I gotta say, I'm really glad you could come by today. It's fun hanging out. As much as I love this game, it's way better when you have someone to just kind of hang out and chat with. Should be someone down. It's probably going to be someone down there, but they're going to be, you know, you got the, you have stuff to deal with there. Where to go? Where would be a good spot to try this thing out? It's College Square. Yeah, let's head over there. Try it out. Not so much for the duels. I think there should be... Trying to remember if that's a spot where if you go into the actual train station, if there are raiders down there. I think there are. We'll go find out. Level 121. So, in watching other streamers, I've been introduced to this idea of OP. It's not something I'd really considered much before playing this. And I think my character definitely falls into that category now. It's very rare. Case in point. Very rare that I actually die anymore. And I now have weapons that will duify. I'm not going to say everything. There are going to be some things where this just doesn't work very well. But this thing seems pretty powerful. But anyway, I actually, you know, heard people are having a conversation about overpowered characters and whatnot and kind of trying to avoid that. And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I don't feel bad at all about having, like, maybe way overarmed myself for this so that nothing else stands a chance. Because frankly, it took a lot of time and work to build up all the stuff to be able to do this. You get to a certain point and it looks easy, but, you know, that was 100 and some odd levels of building up before I could get there. But anyway, it's just an interesting idea. I'd never even really considered that as a thing to not watch out for, but a thing to consider in playing the game. I think it matters more in it'll again matter more in multiplayer. So 76 games like my son plays this, what is it, Overwatch and that kind of thing, maybe, I don't know, where it's not so much someone building up a character as it is a design flaw in the game. Here's some more ghouls. Oh, there he went. Seems to work fine against you. I think I was probably thinking the Gamma Gun. Gamma Gun would not work very well on them. I remember seeing a video. Someone had a ghoul slaying Gamma Gun. You know, because the game just randomly generates combinations of traits, right? And it actually showed them using it, going around and basically healing all the ghouls around them. So I have... Oh, you got that before? Oh, awesome. That's really cool. I think that's what it gave my son the idea that he basically... he had never gone this route, but one of his last characters, he turned himself into a ghoul. Got the perks that let you, like, heal from radiation. Look at all the radioactive material, too. Oh, you know, one other thing in 76 that I'm looking forward to that it looks like they wanted to do here. There's a hard fight, oh, and a useless reward. Yeah, that can be frustrating. I hate to say it, but that's pretty much the norm anymore. Like, anything I find in this game after a fight, I'm not expecting to be all that great. I've got a couple things I found that, again, were sort of like randomly generated whatevers that are pretty cool. But most of the things I find from... most of the drops are just like weird, overpowered melee weapons, and... So... nothing all that interesting. I hear someone in there. Come here, pal. Woo! Nice try. But anyway, something that I was really disappointed about in this game, in the first playthrough I got the Aquaman perk and decided I'm going to go see what's in the ocean. And nothing. There's like nothing in the ocean. You want to talk about a useless reward? Like, from the surface, there are all these things that look like they're going to be really interesting to explore, you know? Pipes that go off into the ocean that, You don't know if they connect to anything. You may figure maybe there's some underwater levels that you can find. And literally nothing. Not a fish in sight. None of those dolphin shark things that you find. Apparently they all beached themselves simultaneously and became instantaneously extinct because they're nowhere else. I was honestly kind of hoping too. Like I knew it probably wouldn't be there, but they kind of amped it up again in Far Harbor, where there were all these weird skeletons that you find on the beach, and I thought, well, maybe we'll at least catch a hint of one or something, even if we don't get to interact with it directly. Even if it's not something we have to fight, maybe we'll get to see something. And nope. Again. So I'm hoping that there are actually going to be some either lake or ocean creatures this time around. Okay, well, test complete. This thing is awesome. There's like... This is going to be fun. Looking forward to putting it to good use. Did I hear someone else? Yeah, the station I was thinking of is probably... Oh! My apologies. I have to put up my intermission screen for about 30 seconds here, and I'll be right back. There we go. Okay, let's see. So we're just trying to find our way out of here, and there's that someone in there.
In the event of an emergency, please use call boxes to request police assistance.
Waiting for some cockroaches or something to come out. But maybe not. Huh. Oh, that's the There's a monkey somewhere. There we go. So it does really great against the low-level enemies. We'll have to find someone else and see how it does against, you know, a death claw, something with a little more teeth. Okay. Well, may as well get on the missions here. Go collar some people. Go take out some gangs. Should be fun. So the taller is actually going to be the more difficult one to do now because I have no stealth ability. Last night I was trying to do one and ended up just letting the guy chase me around the building for a solid 10 minutes. So yeah, this load time, I was actually wasn't so bad. I was going to say I saw someone else commenting on the fact that they actually have a very high performance hard drive and it still chokes on them. So just something about the amount of data it has to load and the level of detail, and it's just a thing. Alright, let's see where we need to go. Probably don't even have all of them turned on yet. So there's Good Neighbor, there's Diamond City. Ooh. So it's a scavenger in Diamond City, so I'll be able to talk to them and like get them to leave first, because otherwise that's not going to go over well. So at what point do I feel bad about going around and killing these innocent people? Presumably innocent people. Rendezvous with the team. Let's see where that one is. Andrew Station. That's why it's... Oh, yeah. Okay. I know where that is. Technical High School. Yeah, I'll do the military checkpoint. Walk up from there. So I've got tons and tons of ammo for that gun. So far I haven't had to fire it a whole lot either, so hopefully that's going to last me a while. Whoops. Anybody around?
Who's there?
This place doesn't repopulate very often, but super loud. Okay, whoops. Getting a little overconfident there. Let's go around the other way. Hello.
This checkpoint has been designated as a safe house in case of enemy invasion, and is currently stocked with additional food, water, and ammunition.
What is... Oh, dog tags. That's okay. We don't need the dog tags.
Including non-military family members, will be turned away for matters of national safety. This message will repeat.
Try VATS this time. Woo! Again, man alive. A poisoner's pistol. Okay, let's see what that uses. Mainly looking for other things that Curie can use. Yeah, why not? There they are. So we don't have to use this for everything. Let's that is... Wait. Come on, go away. Legendary operator Butcher. Raider veteran. Wanted to make sure they were the ones I was actually supposed to take out. For all I know, they could have been my team waiting for me. They may still, I don't know. At this point, if I tick off one of the Raider bosses back in Neutral World, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Whoop. Because considering that they're having me kill scavengers at this point, I'm not sure how far I want to take the whole, you know, errand boy set of missions. Like, I've no indication I'm actually going to miss out on anything by just taking them out now instead of later.
Show your face. Come on.
Whoop.
There.
I'm starting out wondering if I may have killed my own team back there. I don't know. Apparently I don't discriminate much anymore.
Time's up. On, tough guy. Come on.
Because you all have marks on you. Whereas the other guys did not. Whoops. Wonder what kind of gun I just picked up. Okay, I think that's one down, just to make sure. Collar Scavenger, Diamond City, return to Mags. Yeah, I guess you could call that rendezvousing with the team. Oh well. Let me just fast travel, our good neighbor. I always get lost on my way there, and there's no point in just watching me bumble around on the map. We'll just dive straight in. Shoot first, ask questions later. Pretty much. Like, what are they going to do? It's like, oops. I'm sorry, you all look the same. Yeah. You all kind of dress the same. You all have the same lines you spout over and over. How am I supposed to know who's the bad guy I'm supposed to kill and which one am I not? Let's just keep it simple and we'll kill everyone. Oh, over that away. Totally missed that.
I don't know nothing about nothing.
That's probably for the best. Oh, what are we doing here? Hi.
Enjoy your stay.
I will. You are probably not going to enjoy it as much. But again, I'll see if I can get out of here first. Oh, what I was looking for there.
Yeah?
Hi. Hey,
There's something you want?
come with me. There's something you need to see.
Okay. Lead the way.
How very trusting. It's really cool. You're going to like it. Right over here. Them to keep up. See if I can lead her all the way at a good neighbor first. The other day I tried collaring someone a little too close to someone else. Fight broke out. Ended up killing most of the people in good neighbor and then decided that was just something I didn't want to keep around, you know? Whoops, this way. So went back to a different save point, found a better way to do it. So actually, there are certain things in Good Neighbor I actually kind of like. I don't want to tick everyone off, and I want to make it so I can't ever go in again. So of all the normal characters in this game, I actually, maybe the very last thing to do after Neutral World is going to be find Desdemona. Because I took out the Brotherhood, took out the Institute, broke ties with the Railroad, and then... What is the name of that android the guy who's always changing his face? He popped up out of nowhere one day, and so I took him out too. He attacked me first. What happened? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Come here. Deacon!
Hey.
Can I help you?
Yep.
I have this necklace that would look wonderful on you. Here.
Okay, I guess. Wait a minute. Help!
You're property of Mason in Nuka Town now.
Oh my
Get
God.
going.
So sad. Alright, off to Diamond City. And that's got to be that way. So yeah, Deacon popped up out of nowhere, started attacking me, so I went ahead and took him out. So there's still going to be, like, Pam might still be around somewhere. Oh. A note. Let's see what this is. And you know, actually, so I know where to find Kate, but I've never actually, I've not gone to whatever that place is called, Fight World or Battle Zone. Fight World. Anyway, never been to Battle Zone. I should probably do that too. Got the combat rifle. Now we just have to figure out a way to sell it without anyone getting wise to what we're up to. So there's a gun stashed in Hyde Park. Combat Zone, that's the one. Well, if I wasn't overpowered before, I certainly am now. And I am okay with that. Vault Tech headquarters. Someone's having fun without me. Where are they? Oh, sounds like it's done. But yeah, I was never that fond of Desdemona. I didn't like her sort of absolutist, you know, this never possibly worked with the Minutemen. They're going to do this. They're doing. Her character just bugged me. So I was kind of okay with the idea of getting rid of her. But didn't want to do it again until further on in the story. Well, you get to a certain point and they just kind of vanish. I was actually kind of surprised to see Deacon. I thought they were going to be just like gone, off the map. You never see him again. But now that I know that he popped up, I'm kind of wondering if Desdemona might show up at some point too. Or if there's some way to kind of chase her out of hiding. In-game or through, you know, scripting or a mod or something. I don't know. Not like she's a terrible, terrible person or anything. But frankly, in-game, in terms of my character, what he does, and the story, you really don't have to be an awful, awful person to be on his hit list. The way I always saw it with this character was that he was maybe as bad as the Raiders in terms of what he's willing to do, but for different reasons. So he was sort of the awful, awful thing that... It's the same idea as in The Dark Knight, right? He became what they need him to be. I'm not going to get the lines right as I'm wandering around trying to fight here. I don't actually know you. I thought you were one of my caravan guards at first.
It's called fear. All right. One piece.
Anyway, he became a monster to do all the things that they couldn't do. Oh.
Have it your way.
Sorry, I was just curious who you were. How are you doing? Okay, that's better.
Thought I saw someone. Let's do this! Sorry. Should have just run.
Don't need any more super mutants orders. Where am I going? I'm going the wrong way again. Check the map. Nope, nope, nope. Check the map. The heck? Oh, there we go. Yeah, west of here. Okay. No. There we go. Sorry, just saw your question. Is this vanilla or DLC? This is DLC. So Nuka World and Far Harbor are both DLC. They're probably kind of the main ones, but there are a couple other things I've got, like, let me pop out here. So that helmet is from the Mechanist, which is another DLC. And there was one that didn't actually involve a lot of combat. It basically added stuff for settlement building. So, but if you haven't been able to tell already, I'm awful with names of things. I have no recollection. Come on, go back in. Hello. Alright, it's not gonna... Seriously, get back in there. Camera, go away. There we go. So yeah, DLC, but I'm not going to say minimal mods, but not a lot of mods. I have mods to make it look like spring. I have mods to change the sort of optical processing so that the colors are not faded all the time. And I have one that grows the grass longer, and I have one that lets me scrap junk, most junk at settlements. But I have no mods that alter weapons, none that change any of the stories, none that like grant special abilities or anything. Just because those, I don't know. Personally, they're just they don't interest me. It's about as simple as that. Oop. All right, we're almost there. So this time we're luring them away to kill them.
You cause trouble, there's gonna be trouble. Got it?
It's like he knows something.
It's on me.
I've seen you before.
I've always got a minute for a free drink.
Well, pull up a chair then. You gonna sit down?
Sure, why not?
Awkward looking up at you like this.
No, I'm not going to flirt. Let's see. So what do you want?
I'm in town looking for Henry Cook. Do you know where I might find him?
Well, why are you looking for him?
I don't remember who he is.
He's my father.
Oh.
I haven't heard from him.
I wonder if he's someone I killed.
I came down to check up on him.
I wish I could help you, but I don't know where he is.
All right. Thanks. I'll be around. I'd appreciate it if you let me know if you hear anything.
Okay. Like I said, I'm suspecting that I may have actually killed him in another story early on. We'll see. Where in the world am I oh, up there. Okay. Really? I'm taking out someone who lives up in the stands. Well, that's different.
I wanted so much
Pembroke.
for my life than this.
She's the one, I think it was her husband who I actually killed, so we should be okay.
I may have been programmed to serve, but in your case, I shall do so disdainfully.
Hey, there's something you want? Come with me. There's something you need to see.
Okay. Lead the way.
You there. We need to talk. Don't you walk away from me, you coward! I know what you did!
Who are you? Okay, I'll be back for you in a minute. What? Suddenly, everyone's interested in me. Is he coming? That's right, just a little further. So yeah, the core Fallout 4 game centers all around the groups I was mentioning that I'm sure you know. The Institute, the Railroad, the Minutemen, the Brotherhood. And sort of core questions about what's going to happen with the synths. So, everything else is a little light on story, but not bad. Far Harbor in particular is actually pretty fun. Coming? Anyone? There he is. We're just going for a jog. Don't mind us. All right. Whoop. Let's not go there. This is a good spot. It was as good a story. Scaredy cat. So I'm looking at a sort of a combined chat thing. So all I see instead of emoticons is scaredy cat, scaredy cat. So I'm not sure what that was supposed to look like. You didn't really like it that much. So Far Harbor in particular.
Yeah.
Let me deal with this guy.
Hi. Can I help you? If you have anyone to say goodbye to, now's the chance.
I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
I don't think I am. You got a little glowing square over your head. Do 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 do. So Far Harbor I liked primarily for the change in scenery was a little bit more pronounced. I liked the exploration on the island. I liked some of the whole. I actually kind of liked the Dima story, where you're trying to decide, you know, how things are going to go there. There's some kind of interesting decisions you have to make, but it was still about as much story as you ever get in a Fallout game, right? Which is not a lot. You compare that to something else like the ones I was mentioning earlier, The Last of Us, or even Uncharted, frankly, even Shadow of the Colossus and that kind of thing. And the story is just a very sort of a coarse collection of branching dialogue over a lot of shooting people. You know, there's not a lot of depth. There's not a lot in it that's really going to challenge you, you know, to make some kind of tough decision or really get involved. I never did play out Fallout. This is actually the only Fallout game I've ever played. Whoops. I heard you coming. So yeah, I'm actually not very familiar with the story in that one. I'm a little bit more familiar, though it's been a while, with Fallout 3. But that was also part of the reason I never actually went in and dug into the game and played it. So yeah, that sounds about like what I've heard from other folks too. But I've thought a lot about like what actually drew me to this game, and it had very little to do with the story. I like getting really, really emotionally tied up in games, you know. And this never really did that. It's compelling somehow. It's just not very emotionally compelling. I don't play this to get some kind of emotional payoff. I just play it because it's fun to go around and blow stuff up. And they provide many, many varieties of blowing stuff up. And the building is fun, actually. And that's actually, you know, I think why, to me, I think that's more of the game's staying power overall than just the combat or the story or anything. It's the fact that the game actually accommodates a lot of different kinds of players. My wife actually got Fallout 4 for me for the PlayStation, and I played through, and as soon as she saw me, like, that's not going to work very well. I'm hitting that arm, man. Just gotta say, he'd better blow up. As soon as she saw me playing and saw that you could actually like scrap materials and build stuff, and oh crud. Bye. Run. I lost track of where I was. Well, I was close. But hey, I legit survived, so alright, where is he? Totally lost track of where I was. I knew... Had I known where I was, crud. I knew there were 3 of those suiciders down here. Whoa, jeez! And without the armor, too. Man. I don't think I approached this area from this side very often, so it didn't look familiar. Okay, deep breath. Back into battle. We've dealt with all the suiciders. These guys shouldn't be much. Well, this will be curious. Warlords actually, they really do take a while to wear down now, so... Keep going. Big dramatic pause. There we go. Okay, so yeah, she liked playing it partially for the building. Like, she really wasn't into the combat at first, but that was another thing they did that worked really, really well, was having the VAT system, so that if you didn't, you know, especially playing with a PlayStation controller, you didn't have to be super dexterous and whatnot to be able to go into combat. You know, you could focus on VATs and kind of learn to take people out that way. Which is, again, a thing about 76. I'm curious to see how they're going to do VATs, because it is kind of important to folks who aren't able to play with the mice or don't like to, or... He's stuck. So if I go... Now he's unstuck. Or not. He's at least wounded. Oh, Fallout 3 for the exploration. Yeah, I think that's a lot of these. It's like I was talking about, you know, that this was a... I remember those moments like watching the actual sunrise while I was also watching the sunrise over the Corveda plant. And that was pretty awesome. That was a really cool feeling. Wandering around through this massive, massive countryside, just seeing what's out there. Pardon me, literally for like 2 seconds again here, real quick. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. My daughter, who is in college now, is stopping by the house to say hi and everything. I wanted to say hi to her. So yeah, being able to play the game a lot of different ways, you know, they were able to pull in a lot of different kinds of gamers, right? A lot of different kinds of, and non-gamers. people who maybe wouldn't have considered this kind of game at all before, because there's just too much to learn. You know, it felt like having to build up your ability to aim was just more than they wanted to try to do. So definitely has a lot going for it. Alrighty, well, let's see. We got those 3 missions taken care of. Why don't I head back to Neutral World and we'll collect all the experience and caps and stuff. What world was that? Is that me? Huh. Anything else I need to do? Actually, there's one other thing I need to do here, and that's pick up my armor. It was kind of fun going around without it for a while, but I don't want to make that I don't want to head back to Neutral World without it. Nastier stuff there. But yeah, I think I'll probably go back, collect all the stuff, and then be done for right now. I'm going to leave some time to hopefully pick out another game and start in on something else later tonight. I'm not exactly sure what yet. I'm kind of thinking there was a game called Night in the Woods that I was really interested in. Mainly because I liked the art style. I had a few conversations with the guy who sort of started the game. Maybe I can't remember if he led the development effort. Interesting guy. We had very different opinions on things, and I'm really curious to see kind of how that all played out in the game. Which is one of the things, you know, I just love, absolutely love about social media. I know people give it garbage all the time, but you know what? There have been a couple things where you can reach out to people who either make music you like or are making a game. I had a very, maybe insubstantial, but a very brief interaction with a guy named Tom Moore, who is the writer, director behind the movie Song of the Sea and The Secret of Kells. And again, like I said, it was because I was studying folklore and found an Irish fairy story called Tom Moore and the Seal Woman, which just sounds like, you know, it's sort of a retelling of a film he made. So I happened to point it out or whatever. And yeah, anyway, really, really cool. So the fact that I've actually had some conversations with the guy who made this game makes it more interesting to me. But it's also, it's a little, like I said, the art style is kind of interesting, but it's one of those games that's about someone, I think, coming home to their hometown after college and trying to figure out what's what. And I'm interested in it partially because of, like I said, I think it's going to present a very different sort of outlook on life in general than what I probably have. And I like that. I like finding things that are going to either shake up my perspective or challenge it or be some kind of food for thought. So I played a couple of the company that made it. They did a couple smaller games, little, I think, almost like practice runs for this. And they were pretty fun. They were pretty interesting. The dialogue was really well written. Definitely well-made games.
Ain't no one sad about.
It's got to be a mod to be able to turn that off. I don't know why it bugs me so much. Like I said, I think it's probably harkens back to some other stuff I've heard, but I could do without it. At least it doesn't last that long. Oh, nope, nope, this way.
Seems like every time I fix one thing, another thing breaks.
I think every time it starts, part of me is just waiting for it to go into a really, really tight loop and just go on permanently.
Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, how high were they when they built this place?
Over, boss.
Nah.
cruise lost a lot of purpose when we got here and found it wasn't what Coulter promised. Idleness makes people weak.
Done and done.
Job handled with aplomb, no doubt. Here's your piece of the take. If you think you've got it in you, I've got another job available.
Go on.
The pack have managed to make themselves more irritating than usual.
Yeah, this is just going to go on and on and
They've
on.
made some new friends. Time these friends learned the cost of working with the wrong gang. I want them eliminated.
I think I'm gonna pass on that.
I wouldn't want to burden you with something you're not equipped for.
Ooh. All right. So I wonder. I should check and see. There's probably something that Gage wanted me to do that I should focus on more than these little errand runs for the other bosses. So I'll take care of these three. I'm not going to pick up any new missions. I'll go talk to Gage, or just check my active quests and see if there's anything in there from him.
The other gangs. No rule against tricking them into hurting each other, though.
There we go.
Nisha really only has one rule around here. Don't get caught. Nisha really only has one rule around here. Damn Nuka-Cola song stuck in my head again.
I know what you mean.
Guns, but not.
Probably up top again. So I have a friend, someone I actually used to work with, who is going to be streaming Mad Max on Friday mornings, I think. He said Fridays. I think he meant Friday mornings, but I'll have to check with him. But anyway, the point being, that might actually be, depending on how it looks, might be something I picked up too. That's your pillow.
Is not having Nuka-Cola shoved down your throat every minute.
What can I say? I'm good at what I do.
Welcome back, boss. Payment in full. Got another job. Interested?
I think you're confusing me with someone who gives a shit.
You're seriously saying no? I think Gage and I need to have a little chat.
You go ahead. That sounds just fine. Anyway, so Mad Max, big open world game. From what he was saying, it's kind of half on foot, half based on cars and mods and that kind of thing. Could be interesting. I know I liked the movies growing up, so, but I haven't seen the game, haven't heard much about it. So I figure I'll take a look this Friday, see if it looks interesting, and consider maybe that'll be a good in between now and when Fallout 76 is available. We shall see. You know, I'm definitely going to be playing more Detroit as well. There's still tons and tons of exploration to do in that game, of a different sort.
I ain't no fan of playing nice with others.
Exploring different storylines and that kind of thing. But yeah, I was really, really happy with the way things went this time around. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. I ended up hopping up on one of the walls. Is it right there? That might be it. We'll try. Gotta get my routine down here. That's right, and then this way. Kind of a weird way to get in, but it's one I remember at least. You know, I was having one problem after another with the QuickTime events in Detroit. I gotta say, in finishing this one, not only did I do okay this time, but I actually ended up getting... Oh, shoot. Too bad. I'm telling you, I gotta figure out a better way to check to see if problems are on my end. It's one of the problems with using the setup I can't tell... Like, I'm streaming from here to Restream.io, and then Restream.io goes from there to the different platforms. Jeez, that's loud.
I had to kill Coulter myself. I wasn't sure how the other gangs would take that.
In other words, it's cool being able to use all three platforms at once. It's a little bit difficult to diagnose connectivity issues.
I hate to part with this, but you earned it. Hey, boss. You got me more few times.
Do I look like I want to run your errands?
Sure, boss. No fur off my
ass. Alright. So no more missions there. Let's see what's going on. We've got the Grand Tour. Assign... Oh, that's right. I've got around assigning gangs. Get spacesuits. There's plenty else to do. I don't need to be going back and forth. We'll focus on all this stuff next time. Star Control. That's the thing I can never remember the name of. Locate. Yeah, I already did that. Equip the Cappy glasses. There's that one. And then a few odds and ends. Anything? No, I don't care about that.
I don't need that kind of hassle, right? I mean, I'm totally...
Alright. So there's that. Let me get out of here since it's so loud. Sheesh. Ugh. So yeah, I'm going to be done with this for right now. Might be on later this evening. Kind of depends on... Actually depends on a work thing. So I've got to go see if I can get something up and running. Hopefully before tomorrow morning. So... No fun, but it's got to be done.
Some kind of death wish? Oh, it's you.
Alright. Devin, thanks again for coming by. It's always good to see you. Glad you're able to hang out and chat a little bit. You've always got really good perspective on things too, so... You know, it's fun to find people who are into games sort of this way, who like to, you know, analyze them and that kind of thing, so... Yeah, looking forward to seeing you again soon, and look, I found something new. Wow, they're tough too. What is it with the smaller something is in this world, like the nastier it is? Other one, you're closer. You get first. There we go. Super difficult to hit. Go for the head. That's more like it. Yikers. I think I've actually killed a couple of those already, but it was from a really great distance. So, anyone else? We're good? Okay, we'll start out from here next time. Alright, take care. Have a good evening. We'll see you soon.